Good. We'll have the big toes together and the heels slightly apart. And we'll just take a moment here before we begin moving to settle into the body, maybe closing the eyes to allow the attention to shift inwards. Taking a couple of deep breaths as you feel the feet rooting into the earth. Feel the crown of the head reaching up. Deep, steady breaths, perhaps already engaging Ujjayi, toning the vocal cords, matching the length of the inhales to the length of the exhales. Let's bring the palms to Anjali Mudra, and we'll just start with an Om together. Inhale, deep breath in. Exhale, bring the arms down to your side. Good, and we'll come to the top of the mat. And we'll start with Surya Namaskara A. Inhale, bring the arms over your head, palms touch. Exhale, fold, hands to the mat, bend the knees if you need to. Take this first one nice and easy. Inhale into half lift, reach the chest away from the legs. Exhale, plant the hands, come back into a plank, bend the elbows and come all the way down to your bellies. And we'll just ease into this first back bend, point the toes. You can come onto your fingertips and inhale, just lift the heart, cobra, keep the legs strong. And then exhale, roll the spine back down. Good. Plant the palms again, press back into a tabletop, tuck the toes and reach the hips up and back for downward facing dog. And we'll settle here for just a few breaths, using this as an opportunity to settle into the body. Settle the breath, settle the mind on the breath, matching the length of the inhales to the length of the exhales. Good, one more breath. And at the bottom of the exhale, step or jump to the top. Inhale into half lift. Exhale, fold, fully exhaling. Inhale, come to stand, press through the feet. As you reach up, exhale, float the arms back down to your side for Samasthiti. Again, Surya Namaskara A. Inhale, arms over your head. Exhale, fold, moving with the breath. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, step or jump back. Again, bend the elbows, come all the way down to your belly. Point the toes. Inhale, lift the heart. You can come onto your fingertips if that worked. Exhale, roll back down. We'll do that one more time. Inhale, come up, shoulders away from the ears, elbows in, strong legs. And then exhale, lengthen the belly as you come down. Good, tuck the toes, press back into tabletop and downward facing dog for a few breaths. Good, deep breaths, spreading the fingers, pressing through the hands. Feel the shoulder blades wrapping. In other words, feel the upper back widening. Also might feel like the elbows, might also feel like the armpits move away from the floor when you do that. So you're really protracting the shoulders and then pressing through the shoulders. One more breath, reaching the sit bones away from the hands. At the bottom of the exhale, step or jump into half lift, lengthening. Exhale, fold. Inhale, come to stand, pressing down, reaching up. Exhale, Samasthiti. Good. Again, inhale, arms over your head. Exhale, fold. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, step or jump back. Chaturanga Dandasana. You can do tabletop or upward facing dog. Inhale, lift the heart, keep the legs strong. Exhale, downward facing dog. You can always take child's pose. At any moment, you can take child's pose. Settle in, deep breaths. Drawing in just above the pubic bone. Allow the inhales to expand out in all directions in the rib cage. The rib cage expands through the front, the sides, and the back. One more breath. Relax the neck. Good. On your next inhale, make your way to the top. Half lift. Exhale, fold. Fully exhaling. Inhale, come to stand. Pressing down. Reaching up. Tailbone is heavy. Exhale, Samastitihi. Good. Again, inhale. Arms over your head. Palms touch. Exhale, fold. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, step or jump back. Chaturanga Dandasana. Inhale, upward facing dog or cobra. Exhale, downward facing dog. Good. And we'll just take one breath here and we're going to move into Trikonasana. So you're going to pivot the left foot in. So the foot's at 45 degrees. And bring the right foot forward. Keeping the right hand on the floor, moving straight into Trikonasana, bringing the left arm up towards the ceiling. You can keep the hand on the floor, but if this is too deep, then you can bring the hand up onto a block. Trying to keep the torso over the right leg as you press the feet down and away from each other. Strong legs. And reach the hands away from each other. Good. One more steady breath. And then we're going to transition into Ardha Chandrasana half moon pose. So you're going to bend into the right knee, shift the right hand to the top right corner of the mat, and pick up the left leg. Good. And then again, you can bring the hand onto a block. And you're flexing the left foot. So as you press through the right foot, you're also reaching back through the left heel. Good. Draw the lower belly in so you're not arching the back. Maybe try reaching the left arm towards the front of the mat. Good. So as the left hand reaches in one direction, the left heel reaches in the other. Start to feel the side body stretching. Good. Inhale. Exhale. Bend into the right knee. Make your way into a high plank. Exhale. Lower down. Inhale. Upward facing dog or cobra. Exhale. Downward facing dog. Inhale here, start to turn the right foot. Exhale, bring the left foot forward. We'll do all of that on the left side. So keep the left hand on the floor and bring the right arm up. Good. Feel all four limbs reaching away from each other, expanding as you feel the length through the spine. If you need to micro bend the knees to give space around the knee joint, you can do that. Keep rooting through the feet. Good. Inhale, one more breath. And as you exhale, gaze down, shift into half moon pose. Bend into the left knee and shift the left hand to the top left corner of the mat. Reach the right arm up. Good. Feel the foundation, the left foot rooting down, the right heel reaching back and the tailbone reaching back. And then feel the opposition of that direction by reaching the right arm towards the front of the mat. So you start to feel the side body stretch. Notice if you want to go into a back bend, not yet. Draw the lower belly in. Feel that space between the rib cage and the pelvis lengthening for one more breath. Inhale. And on your next exhale, bend into the left knee. Make your way into a high plank. Inhale in a high plank. Exhale. Slowly bend the elbows. Inhale, upward facing dog or cobra pose. Exhale, downward facing dog. Good. Inhale, we're going to bring the left foot forward into Digasana Warrior 3. So come onto your fingertips, pick up the right leg. Good. Similar, but a little bit different. This time we're squaring the hips towards the floor. Keeping that left leg strong. Keep reaching back through the right heel as you reach forward through the heart. Again, you can be on blocks here if you need to. We'll just take one more breath. Feel that hollowing through the front of the pelvis. And on your next inhale, we're going to start to lift the chest and bring the leg out in front of us. You can keep the leg straight or you can bend the knee if you need to as you reach the arms over your head. Reach through the pinkies with the palms facing each other. Good. One more breath. Keep drawing the lower belly in. As you exhale, we're going to twist. So either the left hand catches the outside of the right knee and the right arm reaches back, or catch the outside of the right foot And straighten the right leg as much as it's available for you. Good, you can use a wall like I'm doing to cheat, but try to find the balance. Keep reaching back through the right hand. As you draw that right sit bone down and towards the midline. So you're again opening up that space between the rib cage and the pelvis. One more breath here. On your exhale, we're going to go back to Digasana for one final version of Digasana on the right side. And you can play around with the hands, either hands in prayer, arms out to the side, arms out in front of you, or the hands back down to the floor. Keep internally rotating that back leg. So the inner thigh moves up. The outside of the thigh moves down. Draw the lower belly in, root through the left foot. Inhale. Exhale, bend into the left knee. Place the hands on the mat. Inhale into a high plank. Exhale. Slowly lower. You can always lower the knees. Inhale, upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. So that on the left side, bring the right foot forward. First Digasana. Keep the hands on the floor, on the fingertips, or bringing the hands to blocks. So again, really focusing on finding that internal rotation through the left leg. There's a tendency here to want to externally rotate the left leg and hike the left hip up. See if you can drop the left hip so it's in line with the right hip. And internally rotate. You can flex the left foot so that the toes point down. And that's making the actions as if to internally rotate. Draw the lower belly in. On your next inhale, we're going to rise up. Arms over your head. Left leg out in front of you. You can bend the knee or straighten the leg. Good. Pressing through the right heel as you reach through the pinkies. Good. One more breath. Inhale. Exhale. Come into your twist. Bending the knee or catching the outside of the foot. Either way, reaching back through that left hand as you open the space between the left hip and the rib cage. Good. So maybe you want to feel the tailbone getting heavy as the heart lifts and moves back. Deep breaths, one more. On your exhale, let go of the foot or the knee and let the leg swing back and the torso move forward. Find your hand position. Draw the lower belly in. This time you can try pointing the foot, finding that internal rotation. Notice how that helps to spread the lower back. So you can root through the right foot, draw the lower belly in, reach the heart forward. One more breath, inhale. As you exhale, bend into the right knee, hands to the mat. Inhale in the high plank. Exhale, lower down. Inhale, upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. All right, one more sequence standing. And then we'll go to the floor. So bring the right foot forward into Virabhadrasana. Or actually for now, I changed my mind. Keep the back heel lifted. So coming into like a high lunge position. Inhale, bring the arms over your head. Good. Start getting into the hips a little bit. So as you reach the arms up, the palms can be apart, but the palms are facing each other. Bend into the right knee as you reach back through the left heel. Inhale, one more breath. Exhale in a twist, so reach the left arm forward and the right arm back, twisting over to the right. You can stay here, you can bring the left hand to the right thigh and the right hand to the outside of the left thigh. And then press the hands into the thighs to deepen the twist for one more breath. Keep the right hand where it is, reach the left arm up. Good, and maybe reach it back a little bit. So you get a little bit more of a stretch in the front of the left hip. Good. Exhale, release that. Straighten the right leg and interlace the fingers behind the back. Inhale, lift the heart into humble warrior. Exhale, bend into the right knee again and fold on the inside of the right thigh. Relaxing the neck and the shoulders. but keeping the legs strong, pressing through the feet. Good, one more breath. Inhale, come up. Exhale, release the hands, frame the right foot. Inhale into a high plank. Exhale, lower down. Inhale, upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Bring the left foot forward. Inhale, keep the back heel lifted and come up to high lunge. Good, so start to get into the front of this right hip. Palms facing each other. As you bend into the left knee, reach back through the right heel. Inhale. Exhale, twist. Right arm reaches forward, left arm reaches back. Keep reaching the knee and the heel away from each other, bringing the right hand to the outside of the thigh and the left hand to the outside of the thigh. Or the back of the thigh if the outside is too deep. Good, one more breath here. Keep the legs strong. Keep the left hand where it is. Reach the right arm up, straight up, and maybe back a little bit. Good. One more breath. Exhale. Plant the back heel and straighten the left leg. Interlace the fingers. Inhale. And exhale, humble warrior. Good, legs are strong. Moving deeper into the hip flexion on the left side. One more breath. Inhale, come out, frame the left foot, step back into a high plank. Exhale, Chaturanga Dandasana. Inhale, upward facing dog. And exhale, downward facing dog. Inhale, let's jump through to seated and find Dandasana. Good. So the legs are straight out in front of you, your feet are flexed, and your hands are next to the hips, finding a straight spine. So coming right on top of the sit bones, so you feel the sit bones plugging into the earth. Lifting in and up above the pubic bone, lifting the heart, spreading the heart, and dropping the chin down. We'll be there for a few breaths. Good, feeling the residue from the standing postures. Finding a deep, steady breath, smoothing out the edges. One more here. Good, releasing that. Inhale, fold forward and catch the big toes. Reach the heart forward. Exhale, fold. You could also just have the hands on the floor, fingertips on the floor. Good, keep the legs strong, the feet awake. So as you flex the toes back towards you, reach forward through the base of the big toes. And if the elbows are bending, point the elbows away from each other. One more breath. Inhale, look up and lengthen. Exhale there. Good. Let's take a vinyasa. Cross the shins. Inhale, lift up, or you can just roll over the feet. Step back into a plank. Exhale. Inhale, upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Inhale, jump through to seated. Let's come into Janu Shirshasana. So bend the right knee and let the knee fall out to the side. Inhale, square the shoulders over the left leg. Exhale, fold. Again, you can hold on to the foot or you can have the fingertips on the floor. Or it can be a combination of the two. Settle in, deep breaths. Good. One more breath here. Inhale, look up. Exhale there. We're going to stay with the legs like this. And now we're just going to do a side stretch. So pivoting the torso to face the right knee. And so you can bring the left hand to the right knee and start to reach the right arm up and over. So there are a lot of variations here. You can keep the hand on the knee, and just keep reaching over. So you're kind of like twisting the torso as you lean it over towards the left leg. And the right arm keeps reaching up or over. You could also bring the elbow to the floor, just behind the knee, so that the forearm is perpendicular to the leg. You could also slide the shoulder all the way to the inside of the left leg. Good. And maybe catch the outside of the left foot. Wherever you are, what matters is not so much how deep you're going, but that you feel a nice stretch through the right side of the body. And so keeping the tailbone heavy and the right hip reaching towards the floor. Even if it's off the floor, that's okay, but reach it towards the floor. So again, you're feeling that length between the rib cage and the pelvis. For one more breath here. Inhale. Slowly come out of it. Good. Let's take a vinyasa, or you can just go straight to the second side. Inhale, lift up. Exhale. Moving through your vinyasa. Inhale, upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Inhale, jump through to seated. Let's do all of that on the left side. Bend the left knee. Bring it out to the floor. Inhale, square the shoulders. Exhale, fold. Deep breaths. Good. Keep that right leg strong. The toes curling back. The base of the big toe reaching forward. One more breath. Inhale, look up. Fully exhale. Release that. And then first twist so that the chest reaches towards the left knee. And then exhale, start leaning over towards the right leg. And then you can use either the hand on the knee or the elbow on the floor to help you lift the heart towards the ceiling as you move over. So it's a really nice side stretch. Good. And just gaze wherever it feels good for the neck. Deep breaths into the side of the body. Keep the tailbone heavy. Good. One more breath. Keep reaching through the pinky of the left hand. And on your inhale, gently, slowly come up. Good. All right, let's take a vinyasa. Inhale, lift or roll over the feet. Exhale, lower down. Inhale, upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Good. Inhale, jump through to seated. Okay. All right, so our first drill actually has nothing to do with back bends. But it's going to be like a front body strengthening drill, which I find that is like helpful to kind of wake up the awareness in the core to help us find a spacious back bend so that we don't dump into the lower back. So it's serving towards our intention of back bends, but it's not necessarily a back bend drill. So I'm going to show it to you first because it's a little bit, you might not have done this. And we'll just do like about 3 sets of this. So the sequence is, we'll inhale into a hollow body position where the lower back is touching the floor and the legs are straight. You can have the hands alongside the body or over the head. It's a little bit harder. And then that's on the inhale. And on the exhale, we're going to bend the knees and bring the knees towards the forehead. So it's going to be inhale and exhale, crunch. So when you come into this exhale, you want to lift the hips and bring the forehead towards the knees. And when you inhale, you can place the head onto the floor if you want, but keep the lower back touching the mat. Good. And then exhale here. Okay, so again, you can either keep the hands next to you the whole time, or you can reach the arms over your head when the legs go out, and then bring them back for the crunch. We'll do that 8 times, and then we'll rock up to seated and take a Purvottanasana. So slide the hands behind the hips, lift the hips just for 1 breath, and then exhale, come down. So that'll be 1 set. We'll do that 3 times. Cool? All right. So lying down, exhale, open up to hollow body. Inhale, open up to hollow body. Exhale, knees in. 1, inhale, exhale. 2, inhale, open, exhale, crunch. 3, inhale, exhale. 4, 5, 6, remember to lift the hips when you come in. 7 and 8. Inhale, rock up, straighten the legs. Exhale, slide the hands behind the hips, fingertips pointing forward. Inhale, lift the pelvis. Maybe look back. Exhale, come back down. Good? All right. It might feel kind of awkward at first figuring out the coordination. That's why we'll do it 3 times. Good. So now we'll go back again. Start with the open inhale. Inhale, open hollow body. Exhale, come in. Lift the hips. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. Inhale, rock up. Slide the hands behind the hips. Inhale, lift up. Exhale, come down. Good. If it's too much, remember, just keep the hands next to the body. Reaching them over the head makes it a little bit harder. All right, we'll do it 1 more time. Okay? Inhale, open up. Exhale, lift the hips, come in. 1, 2, coordinate the breath. 3, inhale as you open, exhale as you come in. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Inhale, rock up. Exhale, slide the hands. Inhale, lift the hips. And exhale, come down. Good. All right, let's take a vinyasa. Cross the shins. Inhale into a high plank. Exhale, lower down. Inhale, cobra or upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Good. Inhale, let's shift into a high plank. Exhale, come all the way down to your bellies. Good. And let's come into a Sphinx pose. Good. Just letting the front of the body gently start to lengthen, especially the belly. So you can make this a bit passive at first, just kind of settling the spine into this position. Just maybe notice like that extra awareness of the core, of the space deep within the core. Really just fired it up. Good. If you ever need a break from Sphinx, you can just come down onto your forehead. If you're good, well, first make sure that the elbows are either underneath the shoulders, but if that's too deep, slide the elbows forward. If you need, the lower back needs a little bit more space. Good. And then we'll just activate this for about 5 breaths. So first we'll press the feet, the tops of the feet into the mat so that the legs engage, the kneecaps lift off the floor. Good. And as you feel the big toes reaching back, feel the lower belly drawing in and use the elbows to pull the heart forward. So it feels like you're going to be dragging the elbows back and towards you as you press through as you press the shoulders down, so that it feels like you're pulling the heart between the shoulder blades. Feels like you're moving the rib cage away from the pelvis. So we're using this activation, the arms, the elbows drawing back to help us lengthen the front of the body, but keep reaching the toes back. Good. 2 more breaths. Notice if you're squeezing the glutes, try to spread the lower back. And exhale, come down. You can bring the forehead to the hands. Good. Good. And I want to do Sphinx one more time just to bring a little bit more attention to the lower part of the body. Yeah, so we started talking about this like action of internally rotating the legs when we were doing Digasana. I want to look at it again here as we start to move into back bend, because sometimes it can be a little disorienting, like what's internal rotation. And like, and also just to clarify, we're not actually internally rotating the legs. The legs will be more like neutral in the hips, but we're just making the actions as if to internally rotate to counteract the tendency to want to externally rotate. So let's come back into Sphinx and like feel that in the body instead. And when you're in Sphinx, see, first let's do the opposite. So first really squeeze the glutes and let the heels come towards each other, right? So we can orient ourselves to that being externally rotating the legs. And so when that happens, when we externally rotate the legs, we compress the back side of the body, we compress the lower back, we compress the SI joint. So we want instead to bring the tops of the feet onto the mat and feel an internal rotation through the legs, or the actions turning on as if you were going to internally rotate the legs. So that means from this perspective, the back of the thighs are moving away from each other. Also feels like the front of the pelvis is narrowing. So the glutes can be turned on here, but not turned on and squeezing in. That's encouraging this external rotation, because that might work short term, but not long term. Good. And that opens up the lower back to have space for the spine and the sacrum to move into the back bend. Good. Now from here, we're going to go into Shalabhasana. Feel free to keep your feet hip width distance apart if that works for you. You could also bring the feet together is the more conventional version of doing Shalabhasana, but not necessary. And then you're going to bring the arms alongside the body with the palms facing up. Engage the legs like we did in Sphinx, but this time start to lift the legs and lift the chest. Good, so you're still feeling that same internal form from Sphinx, except the legs are lifted and you're not supporting the chest with the elbows. So you're reaching the big toes back, feel the back of the thighs rolling away from each other. As you reach back through the big toes, draw the lower belly in and feel the rib cage moving away from the pelvis. So you're lengthening the spine in both directions. Let's take one more breath here. Exhale, lower down. Good, bring the hands next to the chest. We're going to inhale into an upward facing dog. Exhale into downward facing dog. Good. Inhale. Let's focus on the upper spine and the shoulders a bit. We're going to come into puppy pose. So this is one of the things I wanted to use the wall for, but puppy pose is also really great on the floor. So on the floor, you can either have the arms straight or you can have the elbows bent, bringing the forehead to the floor. Maybe bringing the chest and the chin towards the floor. If you're doing it from the wall, you can come so that you're like arms distance away from the wall. So you can just like put a hand out in front to know how far away from the wall you need to be. And then bring the hands to the wall above the shoulders, like well above the shoulders. Good. And then from here, you can start to just sink the forehead towards the wall. Maybe the forehead touches, maybe not. Good. And then you're just like moving the chest towards the wall. If you want to deepen this, you can try dropping the tailbone so that the extension just goes into the shoulders and the upper spine. If you want, you can slide down a bit, look up, and bring the chin or the heart towards the floor. Towards the wall. So it's the same thing, it's just oriented a little bit differently, depending if you're on the floor or if you're on the wall. And wherever you are, see if you can think about engaging the serratus anterior muscles, so engaging the muscles to help protract the shoulders and wrap the shoulder blades around towards the front of the body. In other words, to widen the upper back so that you're pressing the hands into the mat and you're moving the elbows. It kind of feels like you're moving the outside edge of the shoulder blades towards the floor or towards the wall. Yeah? That might take you out of it a little bit, but it's going to activate it in a way that'll be, better alignment for the shoulders, so the shoulders stay safe. And also give space to the upper spine. Good, deep breaths. We'll take a couple more breaths here, maybe seeing if there's something or somewhere you can release to move a little bit deeper. Good, inhale, gently start to come out of that. Come into a tabletop position. Just find a neutral place for the shoulders for a moment. Good. We'll inhale into a high plank. Exhale, slowly bend the elbows. Inhale, upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Good. Inhale, let's come to a seated. Okay. So now I just want to focus a little bit on opening the quads and opening the front of the hips. We're moving back and forward. And then we'll just try a couple back bends after that to integrate it all, and then we'll wind down. So the idea I had with the wall is to bring the knee. So you can easily do this without the wall. I'll show you with the wall first. And then without the wall, you just do the same thing, but without a wall behind you. So we'll start with the right knee. So first you have to start a little bit away from the wall, and then you bring the knee towards the wall. I'm sure some of you have done this before, maybe not. And the foot up onto the wall, and then you bring the left foot forward. So you can have the hands on the inside to get into it. So we're in a lunge position. It's like if you were doing a lizard lunge, a low lunge, but with the back knee bent. Yeah? And then when you're ready, you can bring the hands to the thighs and come up. And then here, just kind of play with this, ease into this at your own pace. But we're moving in the direction of moving the hips back. Yeah? So you can use that front foot, press into the foot to move. If you're not using the wall, it's going to be a little bit different. But if you're using the wall, you're pressing the foot, straightening that front leg to bring the hip towards the foot. Good. Oh, it feels so good. If you don't have the wall, you just stay in the lunge and bring the foot towards you. Yeah. And it does feel slightly different, but it's okay. They're both really great for opening the front of the hips, the front of the legs, for back bending, because the whole front of the body is lengthening. And that's important because if you're only lengthening one part of the front of the body, then that's when compression happens. So you want to spread the lengthening through the whole body. Good. Be here a couple more breaths. If you want to deepen this a little bit, if you have the hips already back touching the foot, then you can drop the tailbone and that'll deepen it. Good. We're going to stay on this side and just do one more drill. Whenever you're ready, stay here longer if you need to. Also, I should have mentioned I place a blanket underneath my knee because it's a lot on the knee. Maybe you already figured that out on your own if your knee is sensitive. All right, now we're just going to come forward into the lunge. So maybe you need to adjust that left foot. if you're too far or too back, so that the foot is like more or less underneath the knee. Good. And then just gently move the hands towards the thigh. And this is already a lot. So you can be here, or you can start to move into a back bend. So start pressing into the thigh and lifting the heart. Now, if you want, you can use your blocks here next to you. Bring the hands onto blocks if the hands don't touch the floor, because you have to be quite deep into this for the hands to touch the floor. Good. And so we'll just kind of gently move into this. Maybe you move the head back. Maybe you just keep the chin dropped. But we're gently moving into a back bend. And I want you to use, if you have the wall, use the foot to press the foot into the wall. And see if that helps you to get some leverage to move into the upper spine and keep the heart lifted. So you're pressing the foot. You can use the breath. Inhale, press the foot into the wall. Exhale, soften and move into the space. Inhale, press into the wall and press into the left foot. Exhale, soften. Maybe you're looking back towards the wall. Maybe you even bring the hands back towards the wall. Inhale, push through the feet. Exhale, soften. Good. As far as you need to go, as far as the space is available for you. Good. Do that as long as you need to. When you're ready, you can come forward, bring the hands forward. Come out of it, you can kind of like move back into it. First, remove the left foot. And then bring the right knee back. Good, maybe take a moment. It's really intense. Hopefully, I would definitely want your feedback after this. How helpful or accessible it felt for you. And when you're ready, let's do the other side. So, left knee comes to the wall. Left foot is up. And then you can have the hands like out to the left a little bit to bring the right foot forward. Good. And then first we'll do the quad stretch. Bring the hands to the thighs. Straighten the right leg and bring the hip back. Good. Deep breaths. Breathe into the quad. Breathe into the front of the hip. Good. And you know where we're going, so be here as long as you feel is appropriate. Maybe a couple more breaths. You can stay here if you want. Or you can shift back forward so the knees over the left foot and start slow. Maybe start with the hands on the thighs. Maybe start with the hands on the floor and start getting a feel for pressing through the right foot as you press the left foot into the mat on the inhales, and on the exhales you soften. Inhale, press through the feet, and exhale, soften. And as you inhale, use that pressing down through both feet into the wall, into the floor, to lift the rib cage away from the pelvis. And then exhale, move deeper into the spine. You can have the hands on the thighs, hands on blocks to support you. Maybe you start looking back. Good, I'm going to come watch you. Good. Beautiful. Good, so nice, yeah. And like this could be, is a very similar shape, different, but kind of similar to Kapotasana. So this could be a nice like preparation for Kapotasana. We're not going to do it. You can if you want. Good, yeah, I see some really beautiful forms. Good, maybe take a couple more breaths where you are. Yeah, maybe reaching back and catching the foot. Beautiful, Charlotte. And if you reach back, keep drawing the elbows in. And you can keep working with that vinyasa of inhale, engage the foundation, exhale, soften. And notice when you engage that foundation, it really opens up the space in the front of the body. Okay. Keep working, and if you're done, you can take a vinyasa. Maybe come into child's pose so I know you're done. Good. When you're ready, we'll make our way lying down on our backs. And hug the knees into the chest. Okay, maybe coming into happy baby. That feels good. Whatever you need to release after those deep back bends. Yeah, maybe let's let the knees fall over to the left or the right. And just coming into a reclined twist. Just using the last moments of the class to wind down. You can just have the knees bent, or you can cross the right leg over the left leg if you're falling over to the left. Good. And when you're ready, you can come to the other side. And then coming back to the center, hugging the knees. Let's take legs straight up. So straightening the legs and bring the feet over the hips. I'm just going to stay here, but if you'd like, you can come into the full shoulder stand. You could also do this with the legs up against the wall. It's really nice, really soothing for the nervous system. We'll take about 10 long, deep, steady breaths. At your own pace. If you want, you can even bring the hands to the lower belly and breathe into the lower belly. So you really make sure you're getting that full diaphragmatic breath. Releasing the tension in the throat. And keep the tone in the vocal cords, but releasing any extra tension in the throat. Take about 5 more breaths here. When you're ready, you can make your way to Shavasana for final resting pose. Feel free to do any final movements or any postures to help you feel balanced. Completely relaxing. You could also stay with the legs up the wall if that was nice for you. Feeling the back side of the body making contact with the ground. Feeling the support from the earth. So you can completely relax, completely release. Releasing all engagement, releasing all technique. But also on a more subtle level, releasing our judgments and our assessments of ourselves. So we can settle back into this wide open space of awareness. So that the efforts from this practice can settle deeply in the body and in the mind. As we create new patterns, as we bring awareness to new spaces, allow that work to integrate with us without us trying to get so involved with the mind. Feel free to stay here longer if you'd like. But if you're ready, you can begin to deepen the breath. Slowly wake up the body, moving the fingers and the toes. Reaching the arms over your head for a full body stretch. A deep breath in. And as you exhale, you can bring the knees into the chest. And slowly falling over to either side for a fetal position with the arm over your head as a pillow. And when you're ready, no rush, gently make your way to a seated position. And you can just settle here in a comfortable seat, closing the eyes if you'd like, or just keeping them half open, but keeping the drishti downwards to allow the attention, the awareness to stay inward for just a moment longer before we move on with the rest of our day. Settling here in this quiet space. Feeling the residue, feeling the sensations. And we'll close with an Om together. Let's bring the palms to heart center. Inhale, deep breath in. Thank you, everyone.